Hi everyone, Dennis Foley from Acoustic Fields. Finally, after many, many years in my life, I get to come to one of my rooms that was built and spend some time tuning and listening. And Hugh's the proud owner of the room and the equipment, and we'll go through all that for you later. But I am unbelievably impressed, not bragging, but impressed with the performance, because Hugh did most of the work. We built the diffusers and sent him foam, and he did all the other work under our guidance and my design. And the room is just absolutely wonderful. The sound stage is huge. Depth, width, height, definition, tack and decay, separation, unbelievable. Close your eyes and the speakers disappear. And isn't that the goal? Now, at the price point of all this gear, you know, people are always saying, well, I want to see my gear. I want to see the speakers. No, you want to hear the music. Everything else is just a prop and a crutch. I mean, I'd rather have live musicians in this room if we could. Not practical. So we have to reproduce the sound and play it back on speakers and amplifiers and all of those good things. But the room is so beautiful in the fact that it gets out of the way and lets the electronics and the music really shine here. And I think you're pretty happy with the results.
This is a lifelong project. Since I was teenage years, I've always been interested in audio, especially high-end audio. I heard my first, what I would guess consider high-end speakers, were Klipschorns. And I could feel my shirt flapping, and I was hooked from that point on. Couldn't afford those at the time. So I have spent my life, working hard and getting to this point, and finally was able to pull the trigger and build what I consider a dream room. And it's beyond my expectations. I can't describe how good this room sounds. I think you could put any speaker in here, any system, and it would just transform that equipment. I went a little beyond that on my equipment, and it's like I'm live. Every cut I hear, it's like I'm at the concert. I spend hours down here, literally. Hours and hours and hours going from one track to another, and what does this sound like? And oh my gosh, I've never heard that before. I've had to go through my entire library again and again. It's just absolutely incredible. It's so much fun because I bring people over to this room that have never heard high def before, and certainly not at this level, and they're just flabbergasted. Vocals are as if you were in front of the stage. It's uncanny. I really can't describe it. It's something you have to experience. Was it worth it? 1,000%. I mean, absolutely 1,000% worth it. The genesis of the project was to do a separate building, which I did. And I built a room inside the building. The room takes up the entire steel building. It's a steel Butler building, if you will. The room is not connected to the sides of the building. It's a standalone room. And using Dennis's calculations, which I think is called the golden ratio of proper dimensions of the room, we came up with this particular dimension for this. The construction was interesting because it requires a lot of layers of material and different material, which I think is so cool. I don't understand the physics behind it all, but we had to really think through how to erect the walls, because you can't get behind the wall. You've got all these layers that you have to build. So we pre-built the walls in 3 sections because the height of the wall is over 12 feet. Because the wall itself is really 14 inches deep, given the outside facing of the wall, etc., that's a lot of weight. And the layering in the wall and the carbon diaphragmatic absorbers that have to go inside the wall cavity, you had to pre-think a lot of things and kind of decide how you're going to do this. We worked it all out. I had a great crew, and we managed to get this place built. It is a fortress. I would probably feel safe if there was a tornado that came through here, because it is absolutely built like a tank. but you can't hear anything. You can't hear anything outside. It's quiet as a church mouse in here, and every little nuance of the recording is, you can hear the breath. You can hear someone singing and turn their head on the microphone. It's just uncanny. If anyone is on the fence thinking about doing a dedicated room with this type of technology, get off the fence and do it. One of the big parts of the room is designing the door and creating like a studio style door that is comparable to the technology that's in the walls. So the doors are interesting. They're, again, about 14 inches thick. My brother-in-law actually built the doors. He's a cabinet maker. He came down. I'm pretty handy with myself with tools and things like that, and we figured out how to do it on the fly. We built these doors over a weekend, so it's perfectly possible to do. The doors weigh 400 to 500 pounds a piece. We decided on ball bearing swivels. We had to cut the door at a 45-degree angle so the door will open and close. At 90 degrees in a 14-inch door, it ain't gonna open, it's just gonna bind. So we worked through that, and the doors turned out terrific. It's like a vault. You know, you pull it open like a vault and close it, but it's really smooth, and you don't feel that much of the weight. And that was fun. We actually had a great time doing it, and I think they turned out terrific. We've got a seam in the door where you can't tell that the doors are closed or open. The seam is almost invisible. So I think the doors just turned out terrific. What is so uncanny about this room is that these speakers are capable of going down to 16 hertz. They present a big, big sound stage. They'll pressurize the room incredibly. During some heavy bass or drum, you can go into the corners of this room. Most rooms you'll hear pressure just build up. I mean, you'll feel it in the corners of the room. One corner is different from another corner, etc. Not in this room. I don't know how he did it, but you go from one corner to another and the bass is even. Most of us read the internet and we're looking at other products and things out there. I always thought you had to have these massive bass traps and you had to do this and you had to do that. There are no bass traps in here, not the ones that you think of that go in the corners. Using Dennis's technology, which was a leap of faith for me, you know, it's something I couldn't quite get my head around, like how is this going to work with this activated carbon in the stud spaces and the ceiling. It's a lot of stuff you have to do. I gotta say, it's just spectacular. The bass is so tight, clean, defined. Again, you just have to be in the room to really experience this. This room uses a lot of diffusion. I went from a small room where I tried my own diffusion. I tried to build my own quadratics, I guess I call them skylines, and I had those, and absorption. And I found out a couple of things. It really opened my eyes. Initially, I used a lot of absorption in the room. What I found out later is it just killed it. It killed the dynamics of the room. It was flat. It didn't sound real. And then I took all of that absorption out, but I had no diffusion. It just had the four walls again with some bass traps. And again, it didn't sound right. There was slap echo, I guess you would call it. It just sounded confused. Everything in the room was confused. So when talking to Dennis, using this type of technology, these are 17 well quadratics, they're 16 inches deep. I wanted a lively room that didn't bring the feeling of a live performance, didn't suck the life out of it. And this room is just spectacular. There's absorption in the room, but it's not overdone. I've never heard anything like this. You can hear the sparkle of cymbals. The voices in this room are uncanny. You could close your eyes and swear that someone's in front of you. And that's what makes it.
It's a 2-channel listening room only. There's no theater in here. It's a dedicated listening room. It's got barrier technology. It's got our carbon technology. It's got our diffusion technology and our foam technology. It's all been designed around just the 2-channel listening experience. And obviously the goal with any 2-channel listening room is to have the speakers disappear and just listen to the music. I think when I first started in the business, our tagline was, listen to the music without hearing the room. And that's what our goal has always been, and it should be. It should be about the music and not the gear. And like I always say in my videos, you take a small price system, put it in a good room, and it'll sound like a much more expensive system. Now you can take in a very expensive system like we have here, put it in a great room, and it'll sound fantastic. So there's a direct relationship to room quality, and room has to come first. It really does. And I think that's where a lot of us out there chase the gear, try to buy a little bit better amplifier. But if your room is not out of the way, you may or may not be able to hear what you're paying for, that extra money. And the difference between a $50,000 amplifier and a $5,000 amplifier is a small difference. But the engineer who designed the amplifier spent a lot of time to get that little bit of difference. So the goal is to get as much of the room out of the way as we can. And we've done that in this room. And it's going to be hard for me to leave and go back home, I'm going to tell you. It's just fantastic. The sound stage is huge. We got depth, we got width, we got height, we got resolution and detail, we got attack and decay, everything that you want. And with all those things working together, the speakers disappear. And that's what you want also. So you spend a lot for your gear, and in the outcome and in the real situation in a room, it's got to disappear. So it's kind of ironic if you think about it. Spend a lot of money for your gear in order not to see it. And that's kind of an interesting twist that us audiophiles go through. So very proud of the room. The quality level is good. The sound is just off the scale. I wish we could do some recordings in the room and so you could hear it, but it would never do justice to the room. You really have to come and experience the room. So if any of you are thinking about building a room and want to listen to an actual room built, I don't think Hugh would mind if somebody came. Obviously contact me first so I can clear it with you, but he would probably be more than willing to give you a demonstration like he has for us here. So great room, great to visit. I'm going to start doing more of this. I usually build rooms and are so busy that I don't get a chance to come, but that's going to change next year. And we're going to run more videos about projects that we've built and coming to them. So great to be here. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. We also have a newsletter that you can subscribe to, so please do that because we offer special price discounts to only those on our newsletter. And then don't forget about our forum. We have started a forum on our own website where people ask questions, and I usually get a chance every couple days to look at it. There's an interchange between people on the forum, and we'll give you real answers on a regular basis, so that'll help you. Thank you.